Hey guys, Joe here of the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I am joined by David Bearman, Deputy Editor of Sports Betting at ESPN. David's in office right now. David, I know you got a busy day, so let's jump right into it. PGA Champion starts tomorrow. Championships, they're kicking off. What are you thinking of Phil Mickelson not making an appearance here?
You know, that's going to be a major storyline this week, which is sad because the storyline's about someone who's not shown up, and I'd rather talk about the players that are there. But, you know, it's a situation where Phil's in damage control right now based on his comments. The book that these comments were in, the unofficial autobiography, is actually out today. So there's going to be a lot of media attention around the book being published today and some of the comments and stories on there with Phil. And unfortunately, that's taking, the storylines over him possibly playing and defending his title. I think we all would have liked to have seen Phil on the course defending his title. And it's pretty unfortunate that he has fallen as far as he has from a year ago when he was 50-something years old, winning a PGA championship, his sixth major, and then not being able to show up to defend it, not because of injury or anything, but simply because he made some really inappropriate comments and is currently not playing right now. And there's a lot to be settled when it comes to what's going on with the LIV Tour versus the PGA Tour. But for now, Phil is stepping aside and respect the decision. It's just unfortunate because we would have liked to see him on the course.
Okay, so let's turn to something more positive. The players that will be playing. Tiger Woods, how do you think he'll hold up, and who else are you looking at?
Sure. One of the bets I did make on Tiger was for him to make the cut. You can get anywhere from about 130 to 140. A little bit different than the Masters. At the Masters, I gave it as pretty much my lock for him to make the cut because of the sheer number of players that play at the Masters that aren't going to make the cut because they're on the older side, but yet they're allowed to play. So just by the numbers of who's in the field and who is not, I thought Tiger, irregardless of the fact that he hadn't played since the leg injury and playing a course that he knows as well as he knew Augusta, that would be a shoo-in to make the cut, especially at even and plus money. They're backing you up a little bit, giving you minus 130, minus 140, so you got to pay for it. But ultimately, there's a lot of PGA professionals that won't make the cut. This cut is 70 and up, and Tiger has won here before, and he's also a month healthier. So I think Tiger does make the cut. I'm not expecting him to win, maybe a top 20 that he can finish if he has 4 good days. And, remember, he hasn't played since the Masters. A lot of these other guys have played. I think that works to his advantage that he's only practiced at this course and he hasn't worn himself out. So if he can survive all 4 days, I think he'll make the cut. As far as other players I'm looking at, this course has undergone a lot of changes since the last time the PGA Championship was held here. It's longer. The fairways are wider, which should help a lot of the guys who are a little erratic off the tee. But the approaches are going to be tricky. You have narrow approaches to very undulating greens with runoffs up to 50 and 60 feet off the green. Even harder than what you saw at Augusta, where you saw enough of those putts roll back to you or off the side. So it's going to take some long irons in. Guys who play great long irons are Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Corey Connors, Daniel Berger. So those are some of the guys I'm looking at. And Joe, like when it comes to an event like this, the PGA Championship at a course like this, the cream really rises to the crop. I always joke that sometime on Saturday, one of the broadcasters will say, hey, look at this leaderboard. Look at all the names. It's a Masters. It's a major. It's a PGA Championship. You're going to have big names up there. But this course is hard enough that I think the cream will rise to the crop. It's going to be no surprise when you see a Scottie Scheffler or Rory McIlroy or Justin Thomas winning this type of event. I think it's in play 20 to 25 guys that have the length to get it done off the tee and on the approach. And what I'm looking for is strong approach game and good scrambling, because even a strong approach may run off the greens. You got to get it up and down. And guys like JT, Rory, those guys are guys I'm looking at. Xander Schauffele's another one I would throw in there. A lot of good names. You just got to pick the right one. And, of course, I love live betting it, so see how they play Thursday and Friday.
Okay, so live betting for sure, but who would you say right now? What is your best bet?
I took Justin Thomas at 14 to 1. I took him to win. I took him a few weeks ago when the odds were a little bit better. He's down to about 12 to 1 today. But he is my play to win, Justin Thomas. But I'm also going to have top fives on Rory, on Daniel Berger, Corey Connors, and a couple of the guys. Scottie Scheffler should finish in the top 10. He loves this course. He won the Masters. He's the world's #1 ranked player. But just hard to take the same guy over and over and over again. So at some point, Scottie's going to let other people win.
Okay, well, best of luck in the PGA Championships and your bets there. Let's turn to the Miami Heat. What did you think of that game last night? They're 4-point favorites tomorrow night against the Boston Celtics. You think they can take this series?
I think they're going to win the series, and a lot is going to depend on the health of the Celtics, whether Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, can come back, because you saw what the Heat were able to do in the third quarter yesterday. Nobody could guard Jimmy Butler. They totally destroyed Boston in that third quarter, winning 39-14. And, you give Butler his due, but he also didn't have to face Marcus Smart. Al Horford in COVID protocols is a big force in the middle for them. Boston came out yesterday and dominated the first half. They were tough in the paint. They were making a lot of shots, shooting 59%. But once you saw the Heat were only down 8 at halftime with Boston shooting 59%, you had to wonder, the Heat turn on their patented defense, what would happen? And what you saw was a third quarter blowout. It all is going to depend on who plays for Boston in game 2. I expect it to be a very close nip and tuck game. Probably wouldn't lay the 4. I was fortunate enough to grab Miami early on at -2. So that was really not a concern in the second half yesterday. I do think the Heat take the series, though, ultimately.
Okay, I like it. I'm definitely a Heats fan with you there. Now, the Florida Panthers, I heard this is your team. What did you think of their play last night? They weren't able to get it. And I think the pivotal point last night was when that goal was taken back. They just didn't seem that they could get it together after that. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts were that they just didn't play well enough to win. You had the first 2 periods going, 3 minutes left in the second period. The Panthers had pretty much controlled the pace and dominated the first period and a half, but were only up 1-0. All it took was, a turnover here and then a quick goal by Tampa, and all of a sudden it's 1-1 after 2 when Florida had played well. Third quarter was typical Tampa, two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, showed up when they needed to. They have a very good power play, 3 power play goals yesterday. And really the pain point for the Panthers is they haven't scored a power play goal the entire playoffs. We're talking 0 for 21. And if the Florida Panthers don't score on the power play, they're not going to win the series against the two-time defending champs. So you got to take game 2 before you go on the road. Now, the road being, a couple of 100 miles up the coast. I do expect a better game, but the Panthers have lost all game 1 so far this year and last year. So not at all surprised they lost. I just hope they had played better.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat when you look at it. They do lose that first game of series. It's going to be interesting. I really hope that they can pull it together for you here, David, because they are a phenomenal team, especially offensively on that puck. They're dominating normally last night, only able to get that 1 goal. But I'm not going to keep you forever, David. I know you have a packed day. I want to wish you all the best in all of your bets. Can you let everyone know where to find you on everything that you're doing?
Sure. On Twitter at @DBearman ESPN, right there on the screen. And all the content is on ESPN Chalk. So go to ESPN.com, search for Chalk, and you'll see all of our betting content, including all the golf picks we just discussed are out there this morning.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for joining me here today. You guys, I will be back shortly with Ladarius. So make sure you join me back here. David, have a wonderful day. We'll see you again shortly.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, David.